And we were just like, oh no, we have 15 minutes. We thought we were okay when we got through security. We're like, okay, we're just gonna have to go really fast to our gate. But no, there was another line. Hey you, it's Olivia. We're back for another one of my international travel story times. If you're new and just clicking in, basically what I'm about is travel and just my life really, which right now is more budget living and saving up for my next trip. But we will be going to Iceland in about 3 weeks now, and I'm so excited to take you with me. For today though, we are just continuing a series where I tell you stories about trips I've already been on. And today we're going to be talking about the nightmare that was the Amsterdam airport. I do want to note, I had a commenter when I kind of was teasing this video last week say that he actually really enjoyed the Amsterdam airport. So I want to give the airport some credit that, you know, maybe we caught it at a really bad time. I know that 2020 hit everyone really hard and this was only 2022. So they might have just been in an awkward recovery / growth phase after that. All that said, it was not a fun experience for us. I have been all over the place in so many airports. I've lost count in like literally 4 out of the 7 continents, and this was the worst experience that I had so far. So we already had a little bit of an idea because we had been couch surfing with a Dutch guy and he had told us, hey, the Amsterdam airport's really rough. He told us there were even airlines that had stopped doing business at the Amsterdam airport for the time because of how bad it was. And I was just like, oh my gosh, well, how can it be that bad? So, you know, we were trying to get there a little bit before the 4 hours, but I feel like we got there pretty much at the recommended 4 hours before our boarding time that they always say for international flights. And we get there and there's this line, like no line you have ever seen before, just to get to the, checking your bags and registering your ticket. I am not exaggerating when I say we were in that line for 3 hours and we couldn't even figure out where the line was supposed to be because it was so disorganized and there was just a giant wad of people out way beyond the ticketing counter, way beyond any of the guard, what do you call those? You know, those little, I want to call them guardrails, but they're made out of cloth. Anyways, it was hard to even know that we were in the right line, and I think we might have been in the wrong line for the first 20 minutes or so, which was not good. And we finally get there, and we get to the ticketing counter, and it's barely an hour before our boarding time. And then the ticketing guy's like, oh, do you guys have XYZ form? And I know that other people didn't know about this form either because I noticed a lot of people having to step to the side and do something on their phone first. It was one of those, you know how even into 2022, some countries were making you sign like an exit contract tracing type of deal. It was something like that. But like I said, I feel like a lot of people didn't know. So anyways, yeah, we're like frantically doing this little form. Luckily we had the connection for it. We get everything checked in. We were carry-on only, which is great because we did not have time to be checking the bags too. And then he's like, yeah, now you have to go through security. And we're just like, oh my gosh, we only have an hour. And he did not have very good customer service. He was just like, that's not my problem, figure it out. And I was just like, dude, we've been waiting in this line for 3 hours. That is abnormal. But anyways, we just went on and we went to security. Security was about 45 minutes. And from what I'm used to for most airports, you know, you go through checking in your ticket. And then if you have to, you check your bag, which we didn't have to do. And then you go through security and then you go through your gate. But there was something to do with us exiting the European Union where there was a third line. And we were just like, oh no, we have 15 minutes. We thought we were okay when we got through security. We're like, okay, we're just gonna have to go really fast to our gate. But no, there was another line. And to make things worse, there were 2 different lines. There was one that was kind of like an express electronic line for United States citizens and I think people from China, I don't know why, and then a couple of other places like Europeans, I think Canadians. Anyways, I could have gone through that line, but my friend Angel, who was traveling with me, is Peruvian and he was not included in that. And they were starting to divide us and I'm like, no, because if one of us is going to miss this flight, both of us is going to miss this flight, can I just stay with him? And the guy separating people was really sweet. He said, yeah, it's okay, you can stay with him. But that did cost us more time, the fact that we couldn't go through that express line, or at least Angel couldn't, and he was going with me, so It's the same as if both of us couldn't. So at this point, I said we had 15 minutes. We had like 30 minutes actually from the boarding time. And we're just sitting there like, oh my gosh, are we gonna make it through? Because it's also another insane line. And then we have this man, I think he was from somewhere in Eastern Europe, maybe Ukrainian. He was kind of pushing through saying, oh my gosh, everybody, please let me through, please let me through. And all of us are almost missing our flights. But Angel and I decided, because we couldn't tell what was going on, his English was a little bit broken, but he seemed to have something really, really serious going on. So we're just like, yeah, it's okay, you go ahead of us, because a lot of other people had also been letting him go ahead, and we were the last people in front of him in the line. And we said, yeah, it's okay, you can go ahead. He goes up there, and it's uber complicated. It's not like everyone else had been taking maybe 5 minutes, and he's taking like 10 plus minutes because he had some kind of documents that didn't have the right translation on them, and we were just like, oh no. Finally we get up there, and it's already a good 5 to 10 minutes past our boarding time, and we just are like the final call for the boarding time. And we were asking the guys, because finally we can get through, but we said, look, we're pretty sure we just missed our flight. It sounded like it was something they were used to hearing. We said, what are we supposed to do now? Because neither of us had ever missed a flight. And they said, oh, go over to XYZ counter and talk to them. And so we get out and we go talk to that counter, and they're like, what the heck are you talking about? And we're just going, and they sent us to another counter, and that counter was like, we don't know. So finally we just sit down outside of a Starbucks, totally defeated. And I just looked over at Angel and I was like, we are going to be on a beach in India tonight. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I was like, we're going to make this happen somehow. And sure enough, just then I got a phone call, and I was like, who is this? And I pick it up, and they said, Miss, my last name. And I was like, yeah. They said, this is Emirates. Are you still planning to accompany us on our flight to Dubai? And I was like, yes, what? Mind you, it was 20 minutes after the boarding time at this point, like for the cutoff. And they said, well, we're at terminal whatever, which was across the airport. Please come as soon as you can. And we were like, oh my gosh. I literally jump up, and poor Angel, his English got a lot better throughout this trip, but I was kind of talking fast to this person, and I just jumped up, and he kept being like, Olivia, what's going on? Olivia, what's going on? And I just start running, and he's just running after me. And I hang up the phone, and I shout behind me, Angel, we're still going to get on the flight. We're going to be on a beach in India. And with all our backpacks and everything, we're just racing across the airport. We were the only ones doing it, but also I don't think it's the weirdest thing in the world. We were taking all the little express treadmill things, and we finally get there about 5 minutes later, just racing. And the gate agents are there being like, come, come, come. And we bust into the plane, and we're just panting. And I think we had to have our masks on still, so it was even worse. And have you ever had to breathe really hard in your mask where you know your mouth is just making that indentation into the mask? It was like that. And then we had to do a walk of shame down the hall, because you have to remember, this was a flight to Dubai, so there were kind of important people doing important things. We were just economy. I cannot believe that Emirates waited for us. I don't know if it was because of how notorious this airport was, or if Emirates is really that amazing, but shout out to Emirates for me. I don't know how much longer they would have waited, and I recognize that they kind of delayed the flight for an economy passenger, so I know that there's some people who wouldn't like that, because I can understand how that's an inconvenience to everybody else. But from where I was sitting, it was amazing. And we plopped down in our seat. I was in the middle seat, Angel was by the window, and there was a girl who, you know, I'm not actually sure where she was from, but she spoke English almost like a native. So anyways, I don't want to make assumptions. I forget if she told me where she was from or not. But she was going for a meeting with her boss down in Dubai, like a lot of the people on the flight. And she was telling me about how awful the Amsterdam airport was. She was like, yeah, there's been times that I get there 6 hours early and I still almost miss my flight. So this had been going on for a couple months at this point. I don't know what was up. I hope that airport has gotten better since then. So I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, never go. Actually, in in lieu of that, in lieu of like putting out a, oh my gosh, don't go to the Amsterdam airport because I had a bad experience 2 years ago, I would love it if you're somebody who's been in 2023 or this year, if you could put your comments down below about what kind of experience you had, because I'm curious to know if it's changed, and that might even be helpful for me because I like to travel regularly. But yeah, by miracle and mercy of Emirates Airlines, we were on our plane to Dubai. And I am going to leave you on a cliffhanger. We are finally getting to India next week. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to tell you about it. Until then, I hope you continue to enjoy my other videos. And I am looking forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye. Hey bestie, thanks for sticking around till the very end again. I just want to thank you for being an amazing viewer. I continue to be so excited and happy because this channel just keeps growing like I did not expect it to. And I wanted to invite you for a little participation call out because you have stayed all till the end, and I'm so happy for that. If you're still here, go ahead and put a little airplane emoji down below and I'll know that you're one of my internet besties. Alrighty, see you next time. Bye bye.